Howdy everybody, it's Cowboy Flute Bob's first vlog. Today, we're in the mountains of Pennsylvania, in a little cabin in the woods. And we're gonna be going off to find the perfect flute spot. Yeah, so I'm basically just going to rip this vlog like a podcast, you know. Just kind of download all my thoughts into this microphone. Don't ask where these spots are, and if you comment below where the spot is, I will delete it. I like to encourage everybody to go outside and find these types of spots. I'll tell you the region. I'm in the northern Appalachians of Pennsylvania. There's not a lot of them, so it should narrow that down. I've only been to this spot once. And it was a day trip that I took with a buddy of mine who is no longer with us because unfortunately he passed away. And I was also with somebody that I'm no longer emotionally involved with either. So thinking back to these spots has been hard for me over the past few years because I just associate them with tragedy and grief. So grief is one of those things that never really stops. I mean, it sometimes gets lighter and sometimes gets heavier, and it sometimes compounds. It's a pretty powerful emotion. As I've gotten older and I can look back at the times in my life where I was experiencing it, you never really truly understood what was happening. You just knew that you felt awful. This was like kind of not a mentally numb day for me, but it was causing my brain to go into overdrive in a sense, to the point where it felt like it was a numbing day. It wasn't until the day after that I realized the day that I was doing all of this stuff at this area was the same day as my friend's birthday, who's no longer with us. And the last time I was here at this spot in these waterfalls was the last time that I saw him alive. So it was total full circle, complete accident that I was back here on his birthday. So in this video, there's going to be frequent stops to where I just play the flute, ranging anywhere from like 3 minutes to 12 minutes. So I don't really know what you're supposed to do during that time other than listen, but maybe you can also close your eyes. Like if you don't fast forward, maybe move the coffee table out of the center of your living room and get on the ground and stretch. Do something positive. Draw a picture. I don't know. Write a to-do list. Even just take time to be silent with yourself and breathe to re-regulate that nervous system. If you're watching this before bed, hopefully you don't fall asleep, but maybe you do. All right, last time I was here, it was like maybe 4 years ago. Pretty emotional coming back here. I think it's good to be back and spend it with other people and, you know, make new memories and just continuing to experience nature and let life move on. So, it's a pretty good flute spot. I hope the audio doesn't get destroyed, but we'll figure it out. This is a new thing for you YouTubers out here. Cowboy Flute Bob. This is for Thomas. So this being the last place that I spent with my buddy who passed years ago, going through the footage and the photos and everything else that I had at the time after his passing was interesting to me because it was all waterfalls and like places where water had cut deeply through rock. And I think that was like almost poetic to the point where it's like, you know, some terrible shit happens all the time in everybody's life, but, you know, water continues to move and it continues to cut through rock. And rock being like the toughest material alive, somehow water, which flows freely, can still just pierce right through it. And all it takes is time. So, you know, as long as you continue to try to push through things in time, you can even move rock. I mean, you're not as strong as water, but you can try to be like it. All right, let's move on to the next spot. Basically all that mumbo jumbo that I just said right there, you know, I know rocks aren't alive. When you are not at a spot like a waterfall, or when you are not in a prairie, just because you're at home doesn't mean that those things don't stop functioning. That prairie is still alive. That waterfall is still rushing. And they were there centuries before you, and they hopefully are going to be there centuries after you. So like time is all relative. If you can power through, learn from your mistakes, and just try to continue to spread love and positivity around you, you can get through anything. Time will pass, and the feelings that you had will slowly change, hopefully for the better, because water does cut through rock, which is kind of nuts. It just takes persistence and time. These things right here, those are all fossils. I don't know exactly from what, but they are. At least that's what the plaques tell me as you walk around with the informational plaques. Well, it seems like my maiden is taking us farther down the ridge. Whoa! Look at that beauty. That's nuts. Maybe I should have played farther away so it didn't destroy all the sound. We're going to take a journey up these slabs here. What a beautiful slab. With more beautiful slabs. Whoa! 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 Wow. I'd say this is a pretty good flute spot. Here we are at spot number 2. Let's check it out. More stairs, not a bad sign. Okay. I'm gonna hold the microphone in my mouth and scale this wall. Hell yeah. Sick. It's like Jurassic World out here. With a big old stick. Big stick. This isn't what we came here for, though. We came here for the flute spot reviews, so we're gonna get back to it and we'll leave this stick for somebody else. I got a couple really nice ones in my bag right here that make noise, so. Onward. All right, we're at another flute spot. I really like this one a lot too. One of the things about this day was that we didn't have a lot of time. It was our only day here, and I'm a very detail-oriented person. I have a mission in my head and I want to complete it. And my mission was to hit all the flute spots. But sometimes it's important to have somebody by your side that can tell you to slow down, which is what, my girlfriend Priscilla always does. Specifically in this moment, she wanted to go off the trail because she thought that she heard another waterfall. I kept saying, let's move forward, continue to go forward because we've got places to be today. Wow. And, she didn't like that. But I'm glad that we did because we found this other waterfall. If you don't have somebody to help balance you out, sometimes you might miss that shit. One of the things that we like to do is try to bring positivity to the places that we are at. Priscilla always carries around bags with her so we can collect trash along the way, and I try to play the flute. It's really nice. As a Boy Scout, I was told, leave nothing but footprints and take nothing but pictures. But I think you can go a step beyond that and, bring a bag, take the trash out. Because humans are pretty destructive. And if you want to keep places like this beautiful, you got to contribute something. A lot of us just go to work. But there are things that you can do to go out into the world and spread positivity. Even if it's something like playing the flute, or picking up trash. Beautiful fucking spot. All right, we're back at it. Going to another flute spot. Let's see if this one is gonna be the perfect flute spot. One of the things I noticed about this region of Pennsylvania, which I thought was pretty nuts, is that it's covered in rhododendron trees, which is what you're seeing right now. And these trees keep their leaves all winter long. So even though they look kind of tropical, they're not. So when you walk through these trails in the wintertime, which I've never done, but I know this place gets a lot of snow, it's just covered in snow with these green leaves everywhere, which I bet looks beautiful. This area is actually where I was thinking about all day coming here. In the summertime when I was here, the water was shallow, so you could literally walk through it, and it would be up to your ankles, and you could climb these giant waterfalls like they were steps. Right now, being so cold and with so much snow melt, you can't. But you get to see more waterfalls that you didn't know existed. But as you can see here, this is basically just one giant staircase, and it goes about a half a mile down, and I haven't gone farther up, so this is as far north as I've taken this river. Maybe I'll come back in the summertime and hit it again. This leads us to another flute spot. This is a really good flute spot. I'm glad we could get it in the video. We're gonna move on. It's been a really good day so far. And that's basically it. This is the whole vlog. There is one last goodbye song that I play for you at the cabin as I go to sleep. But it was nice to see people out here, like these fishermen, and behind them is the staircase that I was talking about. This next spot that you're about to see is one of the places that I spent with my friend all day. And I played the flute there quite a bit, but I didn't videotape it because that was just for me. But it's this giant flat rock, and it's got this tree that grows out of it, and in the summertime it's full of children and families. So it's a beautiful spot, and I couldn't think of a more beautiful place to spend with somebody for the last time that I saw them. I'm happy that I got to spend it here. And Priscilla ended up collecting to what we believe was about 6 pounds of trash. So good on you, Priscilla.
Good riddance. Bye-bye.
We're back at the cabin, and it's time to go home. We went to a lot of flute spots today. I don't know if I can pick a perfect one. It might be this one. I'm just kidding. There's a lot better ones out there that I saw today. But I don't know if I can choose one. I think they were all perfect. But I think my favorite one was the last one, in which I didn't film, at this place called Flat Rock with this giant tree. Well, that's it. Good night, everybody.